Hey guys, welcome back to my channel SSS, and today I will be going over the Dragonflight Talents for Hunter, giving my thoughts, opinions, how I like them, how good I think they will be. I'm going to give a big preference here. A lot of this is subject to numbers, just how hard things hit, all that, and obviously these talents are due to change if they don't like it, if the feedback's not good. So that's the main thing I want to provide this video. My thoughts and feedback on the talents, how I like them, all that. I'm going to start off with all three specs. We're going to go BM, then Marksman, then Survival, and then I'm on top of the General Hunter tree. So first, let's look at BM. Pretty basic first two talents are just, picking up things you normally would pick. Your options here, you're probably just going to want to take... You're definitely going to want to take these two since you want the increased focus in your pet. And you don't want the additional charge and bob shots. So, these are kind of like your mandatory talents, I would say. And then here's where you kind of like get split. You still probably gonna take like your basic. You're definitely gonna want to take this 10% damage increase. Pretty basic here. Once you get down here, here's where the decisions start to come out here. Because you either can go down this tree for all these talents here, or you can go over here for some dire beast things. So we'll just quickly take what I think you'll probably be grabbing. Yeah, you'll grab all this. You'll grab this. So this is where the decisions are. We have 7 points left, and we're kind of down over here. Now, this is the thing I like the most about the BM tree, is I feel like there's good decisions in the BM tree. Either I can go down this way, maybe even sacrifice some cooldown reduction on Beast Wrath and Aspect of the Wild to get, or even some Cobra Shot talents to come get a Dire Beast based build where Dire Beast increases my damage from my Cobra Shots. My kill commands can spawn Dire Beast. My kill commands have a chance to proc kill shots, so I can spend talents to go down this way to either play some Dire Beast build, or I can go with the traditional, just kind of like just how Hunter plays now, or I can even go deeper down here and go for another build where this new button we have called the Wild, which is you summon 2 pets for 20 seconds, and then you summon an extra pet every 4 seconds to help for 6 seconds. So you kind of like start getting all these pets, and then you can buff this ability by either having a chance to have Barb Shot reset, or for your pets to be affected by your Barb Shot frenzy. So this is the thing I like most about BM. There's like 3 kind of like builds you can do, where you can just either you can go for like a Dire Beast build, and even with the Dire Beast build, the thing I like is that you can either go for like a single target, more oriented build, where you go down here to Wailing Arrow, all that, or you can go for Stomp, which I like that. The number one thing I also love about this is the fact that you don't have to take Stomp anymore in PvP. Stomp in PvP is pretty annoying just due to the fact that it would make it to where you can't cause Barb Shot or you break CC. Now you don't have, even if you don't want to, you never have to run into the issue again. So I like this. So like even within the 3 kind of builds you can do, even Dire Beast has 2 different ways you can do it. You can either go for like a full Mongo damage build where you're just every time you're summoning a pet, or every time you're Barb Shotting, you're stomping and all this. Or you can go down here for more single target during the Dire Beast build. Or you can go for this Call of the Wild, or you can just not go for any of it. So you can just go, you're gonna want that, you're gonna want that. You're gonna go down over here. You take just Quaplas. We got 1 more point left. We can either like throw in the Crows, and throw in the Bloodshed. We can even take 2 out of Quaplas here. We could probably just put them. You probably want like Scent of Blood, maybe 1 to Quaplas. Or you can do this. There's a lot of options with the BM tree. The only issues I've had so far with the BM tree is I wish Dire Pack worked how the Legion talent did. So there's a talent in Legion that is for every summoned companion you have, your Cobra Shot did more damage. So instead of it being every time you summon a Dire Beast, your Cobra Shot's buffed, either I wish it was sort of like a stacking buff, so if you somehow are able to chain 2, 3, 4 Dire Beasts in a row, it becomes like a 30 or 40% damage increase instead of just always being a flat 10. Or for it to be just kind of like a passive where every pet you have out is increasing your Cobra Shot. So it gives more emphasis on that. So I think that's like one of my issues, and my other issue is right here. I just wish these 2 talents were kind of flipped, because it seems weird that the way that Cobra Shot starts affecting kill commands and reducing its cost instead of it being the cooldown reduction. I think the cooldown reduction here makes more sense. Also gives more opportunity in the tree, because if you only had to spend 1 combo point on this side to get what you want, you'd have 2 extra, not combo points, but 2 extra talent points. You could allot them somewhere else. Even though right now, just kind of with how the talent trees build, you still have to spend these 2, because you definitely want Wild Call. Wild Call's a huge way BM plays, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's just some weird BM build where you don't have to do that. You can go like all these talents over here. You kind of just ignore resetting power. So that's the thing I like about BM. I feel like there's a lot of choices in this tree. And overall, I think BM is by far the most interesting and best tree they've made for Hunter out of all three specs. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I definitely rate BM as probably the most, I guess, say complete. I enjoy it the most based off what's released. I feel like it has the least amount of flaws, if any flaws. Honestly, the two gripes I made like aren't even really gripes. You know, they're just kind of like personal preference things. Like this is fine, and honestly, this is okay too. So I really like the BM tree. So let's hop down over here into Marksman. Now Marksman's kind of interesting. So obviously you get aim shot baseline, and then you're gonna have to take the steady shot one because it just makes steady shot work how it is. You're probably gonna want to take the improved. You may not want to take this, but you're probably gonna want to take this because you're probably gonna want rapid fire. You'll probably take precise shots here to get like aim shot damage increases, aim shot crit increases. You definitely want to go down here for bursting shot. You probably want to take true aim just if air king shot's a big part of rotation. You're probably gonna want to grab that. You probably grab rapid fire. Streamlines now. There's streamline there. You'll probably want to make it to where rapid fire is generating focus. That might not need to generate focus since it doesn't cost focus. It's not that big of an issue. But you'll definitely take surging shots if you're going down this way at all. Just due to the fact that it's a chance to give you more rapid fires out. Now here's the part of the tree where I've been looking at this, and I can't figure out how I want to go about this. This is where my issue with Marksman kind of begins with this tree, is that here you have to start taking a lot of just what I would consider piss talents, not very good talents, because like either you have to take the steady focus to get true shot, or you have to like this could be good. The only reason why these kill shot talents don't really stick out at me is that the reason why kill shot does a lot of damage right now on Shadowlands is due to flight shot increasing the damage of kill shot by like 30% or something. It's a ridiculous modifier. So kill shot on its own isn't that strong. So you'll have to take either this death blow, and you'll have to take Lone Wolf, which Lone Wolf doesn't really do much, but doesn't do really anything outside of PvE. You don't really ever want a Lone Wolf in PvP. So like you'd have to put like 2 in careful aim, even unlock this, or you might go like quick shot here, because then you'll probably take this to get true shot. You'll definitely want lock and load in PvP, and then you'll probably like take this because like these talents could be worth it randomly. These two talents really just come down to scaling, just like how much damage they do. So like these could either be the piss or these could be really good. Wailing Arrow, you'll see both in the Marksman and the BM tree. I don't know if this will be good or not. If the silence doesn't work in PvP, this might just be absolutely garbage, unless it does a shit ton of damage. But most likely, it's already in retail now, already in Shadowlands now, and the silence doesn't work, so it's kind of not, it wasn't useful last season, so you kind of like force here to probably put 2 in the calling the shots. You'll probably take Eagle Talon's True Focus, especially if you're not taking rapid fire. If you're not taking rapid fire focus generation. The main reason why is I don't think Unerring Vision's that good, just due to the fact that it's static crit. So as seasons go on, this becomes less valuable because it doesn't scale as well as a talent like this Bullseye up here, which is 1% crit every 6 seconds. That scales no matter what well at any point of the game. But this talent in PvP won't be that great because you'll never be really hitting things that long into execute range. Also, another issue with just if you're playing like how normal Marksman is, it feels kind of crappy that double tap is just down here on the AoE side of the tree. Like you have to take volley just to get this tree. I mean, I actually don't have to take volley. You could just, if you just want to sack some points, right? If you're willing to part way with some points, you have to part way with a lot of points. Because this is 3 points just the way to get away with double tap. I swear, at least if you take them here, if you put 3 points here, you're at least getting the 4% increase crit damage could be good, but it definitely doesn't feel that great. Now, one thing I thought about from the Marksman tree that they could potentially do to my main issue, which is going to be the issue of Marksman and Survival, is I kind of was hoping for kind of an overhaul of redesign of how the specs play. And these talent trees just mean that all three specs are going to play pretty much the exact same. Outside of BM is showing the only one that's going to be playing any sort of differently. So what they could do here is, like, on this side of the tree, instead of it just being boring, aim shot, just damage increases, they could have some way to return back to an old playstyle of Marksman, either like a Mob Marksman, or as I was saying, which would be more likely, it's like a Legion Marksman, where you have your precision windows that you have to aim for. Either aim shot is castable moving or spammable, but obviously it does like less damage, and there's like mark shot return, something more like the Legion playstyle, or just a way to return to an old playstyle over here, instead of just having being the same old boring Marksman. You know, that's the one thing I was kind of disappointed at these talent trees, is that it feels like these specs are going to be pretty much playing the exact same, and then you're not, especially for Marksman. I mean, these are like the only two new talents I can see that like do anything to your gameplay. Like this for PvE seems cool. Like this heavy ammo thing and light ammo thing seems cool. Either gives you either stronger, shorter target cleave, or bigger or like larger cleave. You know, I think that's like an interesting thing. But for the most part, these talents are like nothing really new, nothing interesting. Like this is just the legendary that like meh. This is just a legendary. This is between legendary and an old Legion artifact trait. These are just two Legion artifact traits. So Marksman, like I'm kind of just like, it's meh. It's definitely the second best of all 300 specs, but Harval is the worst. Like this not like child tree, but it's not. It just doesn't jump out at me. Nothing. This doesn't like scream super interesting to me. This just seems like a way to make my aim shots deal a lot more damage. Marksman, I'll get into this later, but Marksman could be interesting if there's some way you can make a kill command build as well with it, like a kill command Marksman build, where you don't even take rapid fire, you just completely ignore rapid fire, right? You say fuck that, that's just not an ability for me, and you go down over here, and you just like full on commit to just a Marksman. You just commit to aim shot, arcane shots, and you just commit to just kill command, aim shot, arcane shot. That could be something interesting. It also depends as well is if kill command generates focus for Marksman or not. There's no way to tell. I assume it still generates focus for Sorrel, but it doesn't really say in the tooltip. Because if it generated focus for Marksman, you could even drop the steady shot talent. Because what would be the point, right? You don't really need the steady shot talent. So that could be something interesting to look at as well. Overall, Marksman's kind of like a meh. There's nothing like specific about this tree or change other than just overhauling, I think, like what is quote unquote the single target portion. Because that's how these trees are kind of differentiated. Like the left side's the AoE, the right side's a single target, the middle is kind of like a mixture of the two things that both sides can use. So I think that could be something to do. It's like either like just I feel like there should be more drastic changes to the Hunter gameplay. This is personal preference. Maybe there's 90% of the Hunter population loves how Marksman plays right now, and then they should just keep it like this. But for me personally, I wish there was a way to change the gameplay. The only way I see a changing of Marksman gameplay is if kill command just does an outrageous amounts of damage and or generates focus from Marksman. So, alright, let's hop into, wow, the most disappointing tree, which is Survival. So, before I even look at any talents, the biggest issue with talent for Survival is the amount of 3 out of 3 talents there are and the placement of some of these talents. So there's 1 3 out of 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like there's just so many 3 out of 3 talents you have to take, and they aren't super impactful or don't change your gameplay anyway. They're either going back to how Survival used to play, which or feel like mandatory picks, or just baseline damage increases. So obviously we have to take Raptor Strike. We have to take Harpoon. We're going to take Terms of Engagement or Improved Harpoon because you need the cooldown reduction, because I'm assuming this is going to be a baseline 37 cooldown, which is just a no-go. So right here already, 3 talents kind of just used to get back to how it is. If you want to go Wildfire Bomb, you're going to have to take 10% damage increase just to get Wildfire Bomb. If you want to get Kill Command resets, which is how you kind of generate your focus, you have to dump 3 talents into there. I feel like this should be like a 1 talent. Like, Predator could be just a 1 talent, because it doesn't seem... Doesn't seem reasonable to make this 3 out of 3, just have it return how it is. Bloodseeker if you want the extra bleed. Interesting that they put Carve and Butchery on the same thing. I don't understand the point of this, because unless the numbers are wonky, I feel like you're just going to take Butchery every time. Because if they're the same cooldown and Butchery has like the 3 charges, yeah, if a charge of Butchery is the same cooldown of Carve, you're just always going to take Butchery. Because Carve is just... So, Carve is like frontal and Butchery's like all around you. So no matter what, Butchery's just... Unless they just Carve just infinitely more damage than Butchery, there's just no, like, this is a PvE tangent, but there's just no reason why you would never take Butchery here. Which is just... it's interesting. And then if you're taking Wildfire Bomb, you have to take Guerrilla Tactics. Then you're going to want to take 25% damage increase on Bomb. And then the most egregious... So this talent also, right here, before I even get to the egregious one, this talent just doesn't make sense. Kill Shot reduces the cooldown of your Wildfire Bomb. So you have to take... So if you're taking this talent, you're committed to this. Because you're not going to waste 3 points on an Execute talent for another part of your rotation. Like, this is... I feel like this could be like the Wilderness Survival, where it's the 1 second cooldown reduction on Bomb every time you Raptor Strike, like, or something like that over here. Also, right here, 3 yards. You have to, so Rogues get a talent, Ally Rogues get a talent, where they only have to spend 1 for the 3 yards. We have to spend 3 points for the 3 yards, which is also kind of insane. Then we also just spec for 6% more increased crit damage. And then over here, Big Mix pointed this out. It's very strange on the kill command side of the talent that the focus maximum's over here, and then there's just a kill command talent over here. I feel like these two should be swapped or something, because if you're playing the kill command build, you don't want the increased focus, and if you're playing the Mongoose Bite build, you don't really want to increase the kill command damage because you're trying to press this as little as possible. So it seems like these talents are kind of all wonky. So you'll take this. You have to put points somewhere else. You'll probably take Take to the Spear if you're playing this build. You'll take Aspect of the Eagle. You have to. You also feels kind of crappy to have to take this talent just to get Wildfire Infusion, which I think if you're playing bombs, you're always going to want Wildfire Infusion. And then you go down here, and then you have Fear the Eagle, which Fear the Eagle might pump, but Fear the Eagle doesn't even interact with your rotation. It's just a button to press. Before in Legion, it like did something with your Mongoose Fury window, so it did something. It was scaled off your Mongoose Fury window, extend the Mongoose Fury window for it by the duration of the cast, so you could do some things with it. There was some intricacy to this. Now it just seems like it's a press and forget, which just doesn't seem interesting. Then we go over here to the biggest travesty, which is they coordinate assault worthless. Maybe this isn't a full tooltip, but like just you and your pet do a bit of physical damage, and then you and your pet do something special. If you carve, or reduce the cooldown of bombs by an additional second, or if you kill shot, you apply to bleed, which is kind of like the kill shot legendary. Which then, this means either you're relying on this 15% chance every kill command to get a kill shot proc, or you're just only using this in execute range on a single target, because otherwise this is useless. Then you have probably the weirdest talent I've ever seen, which is your nice kill command has a chance to has increased critical strike chance after resetting while coordinated assault is active. I didn't even realize it was only during coordinated assault. I thought this was at all times. So not only does it just gives you crit chance on a worthless ability, it's only active during the button that you are never going to spec because it's so bad. So yeah, that's also interesting. Now we go over here, which this could be interesting because like, so if we're going for more like Raptor Strike oriented build, which we most likely are going for a Raptor Strike oriented build. You get Mongoose Fight. You also going to take this because it's just a boring damage increase. You'll probably take Flanking Strike. You're going to take this because it's a boring damage increase. You're going to take this. This is the only interesting thing I've seen from the survival tree, which is a different way to do cooldown. You do a little charge effect, and then you become one with your pet. Your pet does increased damage. Your Raptor Strikes and Mongoose Fights deal an additional 35% damage as a bleed, and your killer command has a 20% recent chance to reset. So this is the only interesting thing, because there's some way that you can make your, especially if the Mongoose bleed stacks, there's some like interesting way where you get like a whole Mongoose fight window off during this, and it just absolutely smacks. So that this looks like the most interesting, but survival is definitely a very big letdown. So many 3 out of 3 choices. Coordinated assault has pretty much been gimped. The most worthless talent I've ever seen ever. This is like ungodly. Like even if Kill Command literally one shot people, I still wouldn't take this talent. It's so ungodly useless, which then also makes this so ungodly useless. This just seems like a very boring press and forget. Never think about it. This is interesting. Talents just seem like in a weird place. Like Energetic Ally and Killer Companion should be in different spots. I don't see how Terms of Engagement made it through yet another expansion. But if you want to be able to take Spearhead with this build and you're taking bombs, you're forced to take it. So, yeah, I don't know. Sorrel is definitely a huge, huge letdown for sure. So let's not harp on it too much. Let's move to the general talents. General talents, very interesting for hunters. So both BM and survival get kill command baseline, and marksman gets kill shot baseline. So obviously you're gonna want to take all 3. You're gonna want post haste, and you want to improve kill shot. You're gonna take your counter shot, your tar trap, your trank. But all specs get scattered, but be warned, this is the scatter shot that does the arbor trap, so it's not as strong as you think it is. You're going to take the improved exil because you also get intim. So all 3 specs get intim, scatter, and trap. So a lot of CC here. Cooldown reduction on trap here. So now this is where the counts can kind of differ. So we're gonna assume that we're not really scared of our pet dying. So we don't care about our pet dying. We'll take some movement speed. We'll take some cooldown reduction. So now this is where the things kind of build. So if you want to be for a kill command build, you're gonna go down over here. You're going to grab these talents, and you're going to go kind of down this way. We got 1 extra talent to spend. We'll probably just finish out Born to Be Wild. So, like, this is kind of like your kill command base build. This is your kind of kill command base build. So, if kill command ends up for all 3 specs or any spec being, this will probably be like your BM spec. Maybe you could afford to put, not BM spec. This is kind of like a, I guess like this would be like a marksman type spec, but your talents will kind of look like this. You most likely can drop these talents here if you're like trying to do a kill command build. You'll definitely want to go down over here because you'll want to pick up talents to help your pet live more. You want the increased stam. You want the men pet healing. So definitely go down this way. You probably even I actually don't know what you grab here. You probably just do the same thing. Maybe just 2 in each. Get some moves so you get some cooldown reduction. So this is kind of like your basic like kill command build. And then if you were trying to do like a more depending, this is all going to depend on tuning, but then you could go down this way here for I'm missing 2 talent points. Where do I have 2 talent points usually? I should probably swap them in here. So if Serpenting ends up being worth pressing, you can go down here. You can grab Blade and Poison Injectors. Or if Explosive Shot's worth pressing, it'll definitely be worth picking up that. We have 8 talent points left with this. We'll probably grab this or just grab Steel Trap. If Deathstroke is worth pressing, that'll definitely be a worthwhile pickup. And probably just put the rest in the Born to Be Wild. So the Hunters like general team, it's pretty interesting. The choices down here are just going to come down to is Kill Command worth pressing or Serpenting Explosive Shot worth pressing. So if Kill Command's not really worth it for like Marksman, you'll probably not go down this way. Like your survival build will most likely look like something like this, where you're going to want to go a little over here, I believe. You'll want some more Kill Command damage. You'll probably even drop this, grab Alpha Predator. And then you'll have 2 talent points over. Maybe Soul Shot's worth pressing, but you'll probably just slap it into pet health to help your pet live a little better. You know. So this is kind of like your you even drop 1 out of Natural Mending here, you put this into Improvement. This is probably like your survival build. This is just this talent tree, for the most part I like. It's just gonna come down to number tuning, like the Serpenting worth pressing. Now the one caveat I'll make is If you're playing BM, I don't think going down here is ever going to be worth it. You don't really want to bloat the BM rotation any more than it is. So you don't want to add Serpent Sting. And something like lane poison injectors, especially as BM, wouldn't be worth it since you're going to be spamming out so many barb shots as is. You don't want something else. You don't want to. You'll never get like a full value lane poison. You'll just constantly be consuming it almost off like one stacks at a time. You'll never be able to set a big burst with it. So all in all, the Hunter General talent tree I really like, honestly. I think a lot of good choices here. So they come down to numbers a lot. It's like Chimera Sting might even be worth taking. The Chakrams or Death Chakrams might be worth taking. So this is going to really just come down to number tuning, how we're going to spec here. I think overall, I like this talent tree a lot. I also like, there's like a pet living build you can take where you go down here. We'll also take our baseline talents, but like, you can just go into like some super lordy like BM Hunter spec where you take like misdirection damage reduction, you take full mend peg, you take exhilaration healing your pet, cooldown reduction, like you just go like the whole 9 yards. So like I like this a lot too, just for that factor as well. There's a way to make our pet tank here outside of, which we don't know, maybe hunter pets are finally getting some spells back, or we're getting some spells to help our hunter pet for the most part, but I like there is now some tangible way that we can help our pet. You know, the misdirect damage reduction thing, this was a Torghast power. I like that it's now a talent that I could take. Like, oh, I know this team really wants to kill my pet. I'm going to take this build, this general talent tree build, because I know for a fact that they're going to kill my pet. The pet is the target. So I can take these talents, I'll sacrifice something down over here, which is most likely, like, you don't even have to sacrifice truly that much. You sacrifice... Honestly, with this build... Oh, wait, I didn't actually... Hold on. Whoops. I apparently never took it crude. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, you give up probably, like, movement speed or something, but I can give up something to make sure my pet's secure. I like the Hunter General talent tree. I like it. The only questions I have is Survival. Is Survival actually going to have the ability to concussive shot, or is this going to change the wing clip for Survival? That's, like, the only question I really have. But other than that, I really like the Hunter General talent tree. I really like the BM build, BM talent tree. I think the BM talent tree is very good. I like the decisions you have to make into it. I like that there's so much variety in what seems like such a simplistic spec. You can play like a Dire Beast build. You can play a very heavy-oriented kill command build where it just pumps out kill commands. Or you can go for like a weird like Stampede Zoo build where like during every 2 minutes you can just summon a bunch of pets and do a lot of damage. I like that. Marksman's kind of meh. Just kind of like the same old Marksman, with the ability to kind of just get more damage increases on aim shot. And then Survival, I think, I mean, it's probably too late to make it a range spec, but melee Survival is not looking good. This is looking like a very gimmicky spec, though. But I hope you guys enjoy. Leave me any feedback in the comments, your thoughts on all these talent trees. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts, all of that. I'll be trying to give feedback as much as I can throughout the alpha and beta, even though my plan isn't to really be playing a whole lot of Dragonflight. I still want to be at least having knowledge. I want to give good feedback because I want the game to be good, but based off what I'm looking at here, I'm not. It looks like I'm not gonna be playing a whole lot of Dragonflight outside of making sure my information about hunters up to date to keep the guides updated. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.